Ben,
Oops. Yeah.
can't see your face.
Hi.
You can't see your face.
What about now?
Hello, everyone. We're here to do live readings if you would like a card pulled. And Ben's here to talk about, what is it? Clearing shadows, shadow work.
Shadow work, bit of soul retrieval, whatever you want to do.
So come join us. Where are we? Where are we streaming?
We're based in the outback here of Australia. And we're currently traveling the astral realm. We're actually at the funeral of the Queen, believe it or not. No.
You're not actually there. You're just astroing there.
Yeah, I'm the guy that's walking around with a smile on my face. I'm the only one with the smile on my face. So if
exactly.
Why so serious?
Are you watching that? Okay, do some talking.
All right. So, what's the plan? How are we going to attack this first?
I don't know. Talk about your soul work. What it entailed.
Well, where do I start?
Can you turn it so they can see? Or no? Why?
Start with a compassionate space for starters, and work on traumas here, and basically revisiting those states of high energy from the past in order to regain that soul essence, the source energy that you want to bring back for your own benefit. Yeah. And basically we can use different sort of avenues to drop in with yourself and sort of revisit those areas in your life where you think trauma might have got the better of you. And just acknowledgement of that traumatic experience can go a long way.
So where would they start?
Well, I'd start on basically your emotions in the present, and basically whatever you're feeling that comes up on a regular basis that prevents you from being your most authentic self, you basically ask that feeling a few questions so you can separate that part of yourself from yourself. And ask it a few questions. You can jump straight into feeling words where the first thing that comes to your mind. Separate the trauma energy into basically sections where you can understand and regather memory, soul essence through revisiting those vulnerable places,
and that's connecting really in with your higher self, yeah?
Well, yeah. As long as the space that we hold for them to express is of authentic and genuine, heartfelt stuff, and that way we can hold a space for them to venture backwards into an earlier memory or an earlier experience of which that same emotion or feeling is corresponded to. and then basically revisiting those memories is a way of releasing, feeling the emotions, understanding where your triggers are coming from, and just take it slow is the most important thing, and just yeah.
And then how do you clear it?
Well, you can use a technique I like is AMDR, where you can, if you got like a one-on-one with a big screen, you can ask those emotions to separate itself into, say, 3 parts. And you ask each individual part if it would like to sit somewhere else outside of yourself. So anywhere in the room around you, it could be next to you, it could be right there where it wants to be, or it could be outside the room, whatever. First thing comes to your mind is normally the best way to go. And then you ask basically those emotional states what they connected to, or ask them if they feel a certain experience in your past where they might be attached, or they've experienced its emotional feeling before this present moment. And you venture back. Mainly the priority is to get as far back as possible, because if you could knock off a trigger at the earliest stage in life, whether it being when you were 14 and you fell off your bike, or when, even if you were earlier than that, we can get down to like 3-4 years old where you're in a very vulnerable state, and basically slowly allowing those emotions to find their own paths leading up to now. You're working backwards in order to project forwards and regathering all that energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then once you start feeling your triggers, you can get really stuck into that emotional trauma. And if you're holding space genuinely enough, you can provide a platform for them to process that trauma. So with EMDR, which is eye dissociate, like you could use your fingers and just follow the fingers across, and by moving your eyes left to right is actually amplifying your masculine and your feminine energies. So whether it be the masculine that was affected by that trauma, or your feminine energies, it'll actually come out through your eye movement, being the left side of your brain masculine, right side feminine. And then once the tears, they can actually activate memories in which, and also awareness that the emotions you feel day to day in the now here is actually associated with memories and traumas that experienced in the past. And you're basically trying to put it in a space where they can feel comfortable, and you provide a place where they can feel acknowledgement for those feelings that they never did when they were younger, That's the main key, is to create awareness in order for them to regather their soul source energy from those events that are causing those blockages in the now.
Which then, so everything's related, and then from that point, that will open doors up for them along their journey, and in different situations, like if your root chakra is blocked, a lot of your financials are blocked.
Yeah, your basic essence of survival. Yeah.
So it's more or less releasing it all.
Well, if you can get as far back as you can in order to get the source of that energy behind it, an emotion, you can actually create a domino effect for all the future events in which that particular emotion was correlated with or connected with. Because once they're experienced at an early age, they reoccur throughout each individual experience that could have, your whole life journey path is created by many different experiences. So, yeah, the main goal being to get as far back as possible in order to, but you take it slowly so that you can keep that connection from that certain emotional response. And you work your way back to the source.
Yeah.
And then you talk through it and you ask, say, what can you remember about that experience?
Yeah.
Can you remember anything else? And they'll say what they can remember. Most people can only remember very small details until you actually hold that compassionate space and you hold that space for them to reevaluate that experience and revisit it over and over until they feel comfortable enough to express the truth about that experience in this now moment, rather than waiting, your inner child waiting for it to be understood back when it actually occurred.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like a puzzle piece that was completed at the day of birth, like the unborn mind of Buddha. And imagine growing up, growing older, experiencing the things we did in this generation. Each puzzle piece gets removed at the time of the experience. It sort of feels like once you get back there, you can go over it enough to get that puzzle piece back in, and then all the rest of the puzzle pieces will flow depending on how far back you can go, which there is sort of like, I found there's so many layers to it. You can go back to the womb, childhood, like in the cot. I've got a very, very strong emotional experience of being in my cot when I was 1 year old. And I remember a lot now that I've done the work, even down to the patterns on the carpet in the room, colour, and trying to get fit through the bars. But you can get back to past lives as well. All these emotional responses can also be connected further back from this life itself.
Yeah.
But you need to pick away at it slowly. It's shadow work. It's not a quick fix. It's definitely got its time and dedication to sort of understand how deep that rabbit hole goes, you know.
Yeah. And there's a lot of generational stuff as well. Can you see if we're streaming on Facebook? See if it's going out on the spiritual site.
Yeah, there's plenty of dark nights of the soul when you're going through these sort of things. But the most important thing is having someone to sort of mirror back the work you do.
Yeah.
If you don't have someone that's like a family members are really hard to use, but like because they know you so well and you know them so well, it's sort of helpful to have someone new in the picture to be able to hold sort of a professional, comforting space
My Facebook.
in which you don't feel like you're obligated to sort of express yourself for the other side. It's
Yeah.
got to be authentic, and you got to know what you're going into. You know, it can happen spontaneously in everyday life, but they're very rare. But,
So what happens if you don't do this work? What happens if you don't
well,
clear the shadows?
well, if you don't clear the shadows, you can't really connect to your most authentic self.
Yeah.
What your own divine sort of path leads you down, and it's all about lessons. You know, we're trying to bring in as much light into this realm, this planet, as possible through this incarnation. That's, you know, so the more you unlearn what this sort of society has thrown at us, the easier it's going to be to align with your actual authentic path.
Yeah. I'm just checking something.
Yeah.
If I'm not on there, I'm just checking something. You can keep going then.
Yeah.
There's nothing come up.
So yeah.
No, it's definitely, I think. I'm just checking to see if it's streaming anywhere. Yeah, I think.
Is it right?
Stars with
So what's that on? Oh, here we go. I don't need to leave this open though. I don't need to leave this open. So how come it's buffering like that? Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely streaming, but I think maybe, huh? Oh. Why don't do that now? I just wanted to see if it was going out all the way, like through. Have you got Sage going? That's
no,
Sage, isn't it? It's Sage, isn't it? That's full on.
no,
The
no.
smoke
It's
is
Halo
Palo
Santo.
Santo.
Yeah. Sage.
The problem is when I've got the screen wide like this, I can't see any comments.
Yeah.
And we're on Facebook, 2 Facebook sites. We're also on TikTok. And what else are we on? YouTube as well.
Yeah. So. Oh. So yeah, basically comes down to intention, whether or not you got enthusiastic about, you know, dropping in with self and becoming a better version of yourself. Because I noticed with other clients that I've seen come in and out of the shamanic practice, you see a massive awareness of the other people's own personal sort of authenticity artistic, like drive to better themselves.
Yeah.
So if you haven't got the drive or the enthusiasm to look into this sort of stuff, then there's no real point in trying, And there's a lot of people out there these days that just like the idea of spirituality and stuff, but they're sort of just doing it from the wrong reasons. So you got your egoic mind that can take you down the experience, or you can come from a very authentic space where you genuinely actually want to figure out the essence of life. Or that really divine understanding of why we're here and where we're going and what we're doing as a collective.
Yeah.
So my drive personally is I've always felt a connection with the collective. Other people, whether it being empathetic or intuitive or whatever, but
total views 336. Yeah. And a lot of it comes from like childhood. Well, they say from the age of 0 to 2, that's where you pick up all your beliefs and your programming and all of that.
Yeah, well, could even go further back from that. They say the sponge stops at 7 years old.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of soul memory that comes through from incarnations and stuff. But your spirit essence itself can carry a lot of perceptions and different points of view based on your early childhood, the way outlook and stuff like that. And very much they're passed down through bloodline and it's generational.
Yeah, the internet's going up and down, up and down.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Maybe, is it?
So if you've got any questions, just put a comment in the comment section.
No. So you can review this sort of thing later on.
Like, I'm just wondering. Oh, here we go. I just think it must be buffering a lot.
Yeah. I've got some stillness happening here. I feel like there's going to be a big shift coming up. There's going to be a pause before the shift.
What in relation to what?
Just a shift in the collective timeline. Basically, say like possible futures as per the now outcome. There's going to be like the spectrum between what could happen and what couldn't happen. Can be like a pizza slice, depending on where in the 0 point center of the pizza.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a stillness before another massive shift.
Yeah.
Where, so like possibilities can contract and then poof, outwards again. Yeah. How are those cards going?
Well, we need
Feel it,
comments.
Yeah.
You're a teacher. You're the teacher.
Ooh, teacher.
Mm.
And the father card.
And you're going within to discuss all of this?
Mm-hmm.
So what did you learn from the shamans? Like when you did that, how did you get to this point? Like what did you do?
Just about basically connecting within, having the time. She creates a space where you can sit in with yourself and spend time on acknowledgement for your own feelings. I've got a lot in relation to emotional response and not having it mimic back in order to understand how you feel. There's a lot to do with just, like the old saying, you only fear what you don't understand.
Yeah.
And once you understand why you felt the way you did, and that it's okay and it's completely normal to feel the way you did, at whatever moment in your life, goes so far.
Yeah.
And it's basically creating that stillness inside where you can sit back and reflect on why you're feeling it at any given moment in now and the future, where you can sit back and say to yourself, it's okay to feel these things. And then that creates clarity and a broader picture in order to navigate through the life that we're living. I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the shamanic therapist I was with. She was the only one I've ever sat in with, besides psychologists and stuff like that. But she was both high vibration, very high energy, but creates that nice space, like a motherly feel.
Yeah.
Which, throughout sort of the last couple of generations, whether it be a year or 10 years variation, it's still, the life we've lived hasn't had that mother bear energy where you can sit and comfortably express yourself and have that reflection back in order to know that
I've just put you back in. It was buffering and we didn't hear any of that.
Yeah.
Because it was buffering for ages. Yeah. You just take it out and plug it in the wall.
Well, they say a wise man once said nothing at all.
They're closed.
How's it looking on TikTok or the other platforms?
Intuition. You need to go with your intuition. Trust in your intuition. You're I'm not going to tell you the next card that came up.
Come on, lay it on me. Don't be shy.
Oh
I'm
dear.
a big boy.
What is going on? It said you need sleep.
I need what? Lead what?
Sleep.
Need sleep. Oh, yeah. I definitely need sleep. This is the latest I've stayed up in a long time. Oh, yeah. You paused on me. I'm just getting you a frozen smile here. Oh, yeah. I was going to screenshot it. Yeah. Where'd you go? Yeah. So, yeah. What other cards you pulling?
I reckon we just jump on TikTok. What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah. I'll just jump in your box.
This is a joke.
Yeah. All right.
Well, I'm going to have to get Olivia to work it out because I've got no clue on how to do it. And I don't know what's going on with this, but it seems to be live. And normally I get like thousands of people on, but there's nothing. Maybe they're all watching the Queen.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I click on comments.
There's nothing. I just did.
Yeah.
There was only one person that showed up in the spiritual page, and then the rest, that's it.
Yeah, right.
So I'll get off here.
All right, let's do the TikTok. That'd be easier. So you just send me an invite through TikTok?
Yeah, I'll just get Olivia to do that because I have
Yeah.
no clue how to do it.
Yeah, sweet.
And then we'll give this another go.
All right.
With Tori, she
Yeah,
decides to come on.
sweet.
Idiot.
That's cool. Got you frozen on your eye rub. Screenshot. All right, I'll see you there. Ciao for now.
Wow.